My name is Katarina Nevedalova. I am the youngest member from Slovakia, member of the European Parliament, and I'm the member of the Committee for Culture, Education, Youth, Sport and Media. A new program of the European Union Creative Europe for 2014 and 2020 is just beginning the way or road of establishing and of acceptance in the European institutions. First was European Commission, which launched this program in the fall of last year, 2011. And now there is the process which is going on in the European Council and European Parliament, which are two other very important institutions which need to adopt the position towards this special program presented by the European Commission, which means that now we are starting in the middle of July the discussion in the European Parliament in the committee which is responsible, and is the Committee for Culture, Education, Youth, Sport and Media, which is responsible one inside the Parliament for this program. So we are those who are taking all the information about that and who are drafting the position of the European Parliament about this program. And this will be now the process which is starting in the mid of July and will continue in September and October. November should be the vote in the committee, and then in the beginning of next year there is a vote in the plenary of the European Parliament, which will in the end adopt the position of the Parliament and all the Parliament towards this special new program Creative Europe. Well, I believe that diversity is very important for all of us, and diversity is starting with good education, because we are diverse in Europe, we are multilingual, multicultural, so it's very important for us also the connection between those programs connected, or the programs specialized for education and youth, and the programs specialized for the creative industries, like the programs Media and Culture, which is the former one, and the new program Creative Europe. So I see very much the link between, because the education is a start for anything if you want to change or if you want to support. So it's very important to have a good cooperation between these industries and education sector. So I see very much the links between those two programs, and the possibilities also for the people, for example, from the creative industries, to use also the money from the programs for education and youth, if they want to support something like education of the audience, for example, or exchange of good practices, which is possible also from the other programs. So there is a lot of links possible in this future 7 years for the European Union. I believe that even if coming from the small country, we are all equal, and also our cultures inside Europe are all equal, and this diversity is very important, which is also the position of the European Parliament. And as you know, that also in existing programs there is some support for, especially for the countries which are smaller and, for example, don't produce so much of the creative content. They have stronger support, because we want everybody to keep their national identity, or not national identity, but also national cultural identity, which is very important. And well, you work also in Poland, which is not one of the smallest. It's for the biggest country, if I'm not mistaken, in European Union. So maybe you can compare. But for us, it's very important to keep this national culture, national creativity, also in the new programs. And I believe that it will be much more possible than it was before. So we need to keep it. It's very important to have cooperation, diversity, to support it, but also to keep the national differences, because, for example, film industry in my country, it's different from the one in France or in Italy, but it's equal. It's all very nice and depends on the audience which one they like more, but it's all these people who work in the industry are all equal, and all are very great people. Involved much more. I think because if you look at the movies which are presented, or the films presented in the European cinemas, it's mainly well-known authors. But if you support much more the new, young, creative people who produce new films which are maybe not mainstream, but we support them because we give them the chance to be presented in the big cinemas and for the big audience, and people see that. This is something how we can support young people. Because also film industry or audiovisual industry is very well known by very creative, young, innovative people involved. So we need to also show them that we care. And I think also more young people will be interested in seeing these alternative movies, because this is a kind of movement or the stream which is now in Europe, that people, young people especially, they like something which is not the mainstream. They want to find something extra, something new. So if you also see what they watch, what kind of movies, it's still more and more these alternative movies which are not really made with a big budget, with big money and presented in big cinemas, but they also try to find out on internet or in other means they can use. They try to find also the movies which are not the mainstream, and they want to see what else can be produced. So if you give them a chance, if you present these new producers or these people who create these movies much more also in the wider public, it can help a lot young people to be more interested in the cinemas. Of course, creative industries in general, especially audiovisual industries, they produce about 4.5% of GDP of all the European countries, which is very significant, and it's quite a huge amount of the money which they can produce, because they involve a lot of people. There are a lot of jobs involved in these industries, because many of the things are not done only by computers, but they are done by people, and you need a lot of people, a lot of staff people around you if you want to do the movie. So it's really a lot of people involved, a lot of jobs created, and new innovations which are very important for Europe, and in total it really makes 4.5% of GDP of the European Union, which is very important. Actually, this is my first time I'm here, so I'm very much interested, and it's a lot of enthusiasm which you see from the meeting of you're meeting the people, a lot of people, young people around, and people are interested to come because this is very traditional, very old festival. And I think if you said this, you mentioned also in the meeting that we need more events for young people to get involved and to see the movies. I see the possibility, maybe if you create more festivals like this one, it can help also to promote the European movies, because this is also the one of them in Karlovy Vary, which is presenting a lot of European movies, which normally you cannot see in a cinema. You really must search if you want to see them. So also important in how to attract young people can be the possibility to have more cinema festivals where they can meet the producers, they can meet the stars even, which play as the actors in some movies or in some documentaries. So it's very important that this interaction. This is maybe the way also how to help the cinemas in new age or in new era of the cinemas, because people are not so interested in cinemas so much. They don't go there so often. They more are interested in watching movies on computer or at home. But if you create such event like this one, where they can really meet the people physically, touch them, it's something which can attract much more people to be involved and still keep this going on, this love to cinemas and the movies. Like, for example, Lux Prize, which is very important prize given by the European Parliament to European producers or European movies. It's very important, but it never was about some love or about something. It was always about the difficult issues which are of concern of European citizens, brought to the wider public, did a movie about it, and people like it very much. So this is also one of the ways how we can support the European cinemas.